How's it going, guys? I'm Chase Farrow, and it's been a while. A lot has happened over the last 7 to 8 months. I've had a lot of projects I've been working on, but we are back, and what better way to kick things off than with a package from my good friend Sean. Today, we're going to be working on something that I've been very excited about for the last couple of years. Now, some of you guys might remember that last year, my good friend Sean sent me some ducts for the front bumper of my car. The cool thing about that is it fit perfectly with something that I've been kind of trying to do, albeit very crudely over the last few years, and that is reduce the reliance of the car on the bottom breathing setup and shift it more towards the front breathing setup. If you guys have seen any of my videos on the C5's cooling, you know exactly how I feel about the bottom breathing design. Spoiler alert, it's terrible. But today, we're going to be completing that kit. In this box behind me is a new version of the ducts that actually includes a center duct. For those of you who know my car, you know I have that filler plate, that open filler plate on the front of the car. This center duct is going to also plumb that straight back to the radiator. And in addition, there's a block plate. Now, if you don't have one of these open center fillers, that's okay, because this box actually is a full kit. This is the first full kit that will include the side ducts, the center duct, a block plate for the bottom, and an open center filler. So you'll be able to pick up all of this together, and I am just so unbelievably excited that there's someone else out there that basically felt the same way about these bottom breathing cars as I did, and I'm just beyond excited to be the first person to have this full kit on my car. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's open this box up. All right, so right off the bat, here's one of the pieces. This kit is actually modular, and as I pull more pieces out, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. When you order these, you can order this kit as either just the dual, basically the dual inlets, or you can order it as the 3-piece kit. Aha! Yes, hardware, don't want to lose that. And the new block plate for the bottom of the car. Ooh, that's shiny. It looks good. Stuff off here. I'm going to make sure I don't accidentally scratch the finish, because Sean puts a lot of work into presentation, and these ducts are just really cool looking. Not only are they super functional, they look good, and that's, I mean, they'll be hidden by the bumper, but still. I just don't want to scratch stuff out. Okay, so here are the bumper inlets. Now you might have noticed these two pieces that I pulled out before. So if you're familiar with the version 1, they didn't have this opening here. And you might have seen that these two pieces that I pulled out of here, these are basically modular pieces. So if you only want the 2-piece kit, essentially what you do, oh, that's the wrong one. So this one, you'll take these, slide them here, and it'll close things off, and you can just run it as a 2-piece. If you want to run the third center, then that stays open, and basically the 3 pieces fit together. The V2 mounts the exact same way as the V1 did, at least for the outer centers, or excuse me, the outer ducts. It's just, it adds the center, so you will have to do a little bit more cutting for the center piece. But outside of that, it's pretty straightforward. All right, so now we can open this, which I suspect is the center filler. This is my first time seeing this. I'm very excited. The fact that this is going to be offered as a full kit, a full front breathing conversion, is just amazing. There's also a supercharged version. So if you have a supercharged car or a turbo car, he has another version of it that is actually made to accommodate a supercharged or a turbo car, i.e. it accounts for the intercooler. And look at that. Oh man, that looks great. Look at that. Now this is a little bit bigger than mine. I am gonna run this one for LS Fest just for the purposes of testing, so I have continuity in the kit. But I will likely, I don't know, I might go back to my old one since it's already painted red, or I might have another one of these shipped to me that I can actually paint, but you can see there the way it all kind of just fits together. It's perfectly sized for, oh man, yeah, see that completely seals up to the back there. Look at that. Yeah, that is amazing. Man, I am super excited about this. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get to work. I'm gonna start getting it all on the car, partially because I'm really excited to see it all on there, and also partially because LS Fest is tomorrow, and I've got to get both this and the Camaro put back together so we can go do some racing and properly test these ducts. So I'm gonna set up the camera, probably do mostly a time lapse. I might talk a little bit, but first things first, I need to get the old ducts out of the shroud so I can get these ones in and start making the modifications for the centerpiece. All right, so now that we've got the ducts out, it's time to make a little bit more modification. Essentially, I'm just gonna be cutting this section out right here, following this line. It's gonna be super simple. And then the centerpiece is gonna mount up here. You're gonna use all of the same mounts except for these two, which is what I think makes this such a good kit, is it's being so modular. Being like, if you just wanna run the two-piece at one point, you can just buy the two-piece version. And then if you decide you want to upgrade later and you want to go to the three-piece, you can upgrade and just add that third piece, add the block plate, you know, whatever you want to do, that center filler. Now, I will say, if you want to run the block plate section on the underside to really properly seal up and make it a proper 100% front breathing car, you are going to want to run the centers vent as well. One of the things that I noticed is because the C5 Corvette's inlets on its bumper are not that big, there was this heavy reliance on air velocity versus air volume whenever I was running the two-piece with the block plate on the bottom. Now, I will say it still performed far better than I would say the stock system does. That being said, I did notice the temperatures would kind of creep up a little bit whenever I was like in stop and go traffic on 35 or I was like in the city. But even then, while the temperature creeped up a bit, the highest I saw I think was like 214. That's by no means anywhere near being dangerous or overheating territory for a C5 Corvette. And this was on the complete stock radiator system. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We're gonna go ahead and get this centerpiece cut out so we can get the new three-piece ducts mounted. Now, this video does obviously only cover adding the third piece and basically putting the V2 kit in. If you're doing this from scratch, basically from zero, you're doing your first cuts, I recommend going and watching my first video. I'll link that in the description because yeah, this obviously, I've done most of the modifications to the shroud already to accommodate these, and now it's just about adding that third piece. Now, if you've already seen the first video, you'll probably remember that I had to make a modification for the tow hook on the V1 vent. I am going to have to do that on this one as well, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that passenger side vent, and I'm going to use some tape, basically make myself a template off of the first one, and I'm going to get to cutting on the new version. As you guys can see, I basically made a template out of the other one. I took a straight piece of cardboard, laid the one with the cutout in it, the V1 in there, and then I basically just traced around it, traced the hole for the tow hook, and now I have taped the cardboard to the V2. So now I just need to start cutting. Okay, so unbeknownst to me, my camera overheated and shut off while I was cutting. So you didn't really miss much. I got it done. You know what cutting looks like. It's not that complicated. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna start mounting stuff to the radiator shroud, and then the radiator shroud can actually go in the car. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on that, and we're almost there. All right, took a couple minutes fighting, but got it, it's on there. Now, I already got all the other screws more or less tightened. So now, since I already had these two, what I'll do is I'm just gonna put it right here, hold it nice and flush against that, and then punch the hole. And then this will just go through. I might have to, yeah, I'm just gonna have to spin it through. All right, so now we are ready to tighten everything up and get this thing on the car. I got the hole cut for the tow hook. We're ready to go. Okay, everything is on there. My camera kept overheating, but it wasn't anything consequential. You guys have seen me take this bumper off, put it on. I've got some panel gap stuff to address, but that's fine. I'll deal with that later. Now, the only thing of consequence that I didn't show on camera was actually installing the block plate. I omitted that, and the reason being is I actually technically did it wrong. Because whenever you cut everything for the duct, it does have a tendency to deform the radiator shroud a little bit. What I didn't realize is in doing so for the block plate, you really need to install it before the radiator shroud goes in the car because it deforms a bit. The block plate is very, very simple. It just has the, I don't know if y'all can see this very well, has the 5 screws that at the front of the bottom of the bumper. It attaches there, and then it's got 2 screws that you'll use on the sides of the bottom of the radiator shroud. I was not aware of that until basically I had already run out of light, the car was already put back together, and I didn't have time to take it all back apart because it's actually the next morning, and today is day 1 of LS Fest. We have to get the Camaro and the Corvette down to Texas Motor Speedway to get teched in, and I was already moved on to putting the interior back in the Camaro and getting the front end back on it. So I unfortunately just did not have time for that, but I will have to take it apart again. Whenever I do that, I will install it correctly. But other than that, it is still sealing. It is still sealing the underside perfectly fine. It's just, it's more secured if you have those additional 4 screws, the 2 on either side. So that being said, this whole kit is absolutely amazing. It's very clear Sean puts a huge amount of passion, a huge amount of pride into everything that he develops for Highway Game Industries. It looks great, it functions great, and I just can't wait to test more of it over the course of time. Definitely head over to highwaygamesindustries.com. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Sean on Instagram. That's Livin' Twice on Instagram. He's super responsive and super helpful. And yeah, if you're interested in doing a front breather conversion, this is the way to do it. And remember, if you're not sure if you want to do the 2-piece or the 3-piece, you can do the 2-piece and then upgrade to the 3-piece later because it's so modular. Again, if you're wanting to run the block plate, you need to run the 3-piece. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Super excited about a couple of things coming up. LS Fest is next. After that, I'm going to be introducing a new car to the channel, as well as talking about some of the things that I've been working on over the last about 7 months. It's been crazy. It's been a little bit of a ride, but we've got some very, very exciting things on the horizon. It's been a lot of work, but I can't wait to share all this with you. So stick around to the very end because I'll be showing you some beauty shots of the car now that it's all put back together. And with that, I will say drive safe, throw your car batteries in the ocean, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.